Hello everyone, we're Group 27, which the topic is digital disruption and opportunity. I'm Ren Yifan, I will do the first part, and then Liu Zifan will discuss the key factors. Finally, Zhang Ruiqi will present the last part. With the development of digital technology, the operation of global business has also changed. In this presentation, we will discuss how digital disruption affects the global business environment and the development of emerging markets and changing in corporate strategies, and the opportunities and challenges of multinational enterprises. Digital disruption is managed by technologies such as artificial intelligence, e-commerce, and digital platforms, which are changing the way enterprises operate, compete, and expand. For example, in terms of operation, digital technology reduces geographical distance restriction, enabling enterprises to collaborate more efficiently across regions. In terms of competition, enterprises increasingly rely on data and the technological capability to make decisions. In terms of expansion, digital platforms reduce the cost of entering new markets, enabling enterprises to enter the overseas market more quickly. Against the background, some countries have become more attractive. Let's take Singapore as a case. Singapore has certain location advantage with good infrastructure, policy support, and a stable business environment. Those characteristics have attracted a larger number of multinational enterprises. Therefore, Singapore provides a typical research background for us to analyze how digital disruption affects business and marketing relations. However, those advantages are also accompanied by a series of new structure challenges and strategy problems.
Today, I'm focusing on the topic digital disruption and opportunities, analyzing how digitization is transforming global business operations and the opportunities and the risks it brings for multinational enterprise to enter emerging markets. I will specifically discuss three key factors. First, digitalization enables multinational enterprises to enter emerging markets with minimal capital investment. However, it also brings new challenges. They rely on a few global cloud service providers. This reliance brings two risks. Therefore, that multinational enterprises should not merely be technology users. Instead, they should become local ecosystem builder. By investing in local data center and collaborating with local enterprises, they can reduce external dependence. Secondly, data cross-border flow has moved from a technical issue to a sovereignty issue. Each country has its own rules. The conclusion is that data compliance must become more core of the strategy. Enterprises need to design modular data architectures, be able to switch flexibly between different jurisdictions, and turn compliance capability into a competitive advantage. Finally, there is the issue of digital leapfrogging. Emerging markets can bypass the traditional stages and directly apply digital technologies. Take Singapore as an example. It has transformed from a trade center to a digital hub. The SingPass digital identity system and Pay Now payment system are both successful cases that are tailored to local conditions. Therefore, the key to a successful leapfrogging lies in the precise matching of technology selection with local system. Simply copying the solution from the developed markets will not work. To sum up, these three factors are interrelated. Only by effectively managing all these three factors simultaneously can multinational enterprises transform digital opportunities into sustainable competitive advantage in the emerging markets.
Now, I will explain the key insights from our analysis on digital disruptions and opportunity. First, digitalization creates both efficiency and dependency. On one hand, digital technologies such as cloud computing, AI, and digital platforms allow multinational enterprises to enter emerging markets with a very low capital investment. Companies no longer need heavy physical infrastructure because they can operate digitally across borders. This supports the concept of global value chains, where firms can coordinate their operation globally in real time. However, also creates a new type of risk. Many firms rely heavily on a small number of global cloud providers such as AWS and Google Cloud. If the system experiences a disruptions or if there are external shocks like a capital withdrawal, business operation in emerging markets can be significantly affected. So, while digitalization improves efficiency, it also increases dependency and concentrates risk in critical infrastructure. The second key insight is that data governance has become a strategic issue. In the past, data management was mainly a technical concern, but today it is closely linked to national regulations and political considerations. This can be explained using institutional theory, which highlights that different countries have a different rules and regulatory environments. For example, China has a strict data localization requirements, meaning companies must store their data within the country. Singapore, on the other hand, adopts a more flexible and innovation driven approach. Meanwhile, many emerging markets still have unclear or evolving regulations. A real example is companies like TikTok and Google, which must adjust their data storage, operations, and compliance strategies depending on each country. This creates higher costs, more complexity, and greater uncertainty for multinational enterprises. As a result, data governance is no longer just a back office function, but a core strategic priority. The third key insight is that success in emerging markets depends on local adaptation and ecosystem integrations. According to the OLI framework, location advantages are critical for multinational enterprises. This means firms cannot simply apply the same global strategy everywhere. Instead, they must adapt to local system, institutions, and consumer behavior. For example, Singapore provides a strong digital ecosystem with systems like SyncPass, which is a national digital identity platform, and PayNow, which enables real-time payments through QR code. Companies that integrate into this local system can operate more effectively and gain competitive advantage. This shows that success is not just about having advanced technology, but about how well firms align with the local environment. Finally, these insights have important implications for multinational enterprises. First, the firm needs to shift from focusing only on efficiency to also building resilience. They should reduce over-dependence on a single infrastructure or provider. Second, data governance must treat it as a core strategic function with strong compliance and flexible system to adapt to different countries. Third, firms must adopt localized strategies and actively participate in a building local digital ecosystem rather than simply entering markets as external players. Overall, digitalization creates significant opportunities for expansion, but also introduces new risks. Therefore, multinational enterprises must balance global integration with local adaptations to succeed emerging markets. To conclude, digitalizations create both significant opportunities and risk for multinational enterprises. While it enables faster and lower cost expansion to emerging markets, it also increases dependency on digital infrastructure and regulatory complexity. Therefore, success depends on how well firms can balance these factors. M&Es needs to focus not only on efficiency, but also on resilience, data governance, and local adaptations. In the end, companies that can combine global capabilities with strong local strategies will be more likely to succeed in emerging markets. Thank you for listening.